This is going to be a series of discussion on different topics on suicide. And yes, our point is to give information to the public. And it is an issue that is clearly affecting the public. Information has to be given out there. But we are not taking the point of judging. Because where I stand, I do not know what would trigger me. Maybe at one point to feel like I want to commit suicide.
When numbers are on the screen, they just look like numbers until you have somebody close to you who has either committed suicide or attempted suicide. That's when the thing becomes very personal.
Some problems aren't miracles. Some problems are managed for the glory of God. Johnny gave glory to God without a miracle, has done her entire life. Okay? And many others have done that too, who've lived with thorns in the flesh. And they gave glory to God either through a miracle or through managing it. Either way, God gets glory. So my prayer is that you'll be able to manage it, and then God will give you a ministry of helping other people. Well, about 8 years ago, Matthew'd come over to our house for dinner one night, and we had a good time. We watched TV, played a few games. There's no problem, no rift. He lived in his own home. As he was leaving, he said, "Dad, I'm just so tired. I'm so tired." And that was the last we heard from him.
Wow.
So about 24 hours later, we are worried because what we'd feared might happen someday and what we would pray would never happen. We go over to his house. His car's in the driveway, the door's locked, we don't have a key to get into his house. And we're waiting for the police to come break down the door to find this terrible moment in our lives.
Now, we have dealt with things that could cause somebody, drive somebody to commit suicide. Now, what are the red flags? What are the things that we should be looking out to? And generally, not to particular people, but generally to everyone we are living with.
Yes.
Because we could be living in a home and we think everything is rosy, everything is okay, but somebody probably is going through something and thinking of suicide. What are some of the red flags?
And it's good to indicate that we will come back
and do it in detail. Yes.
This is just
an introduction. Yes, exactly.
Because like even for the horses, the triggers to suicide, they are quite a number.
Yeah.
And we could group them into maybe 3. They are health conditions.
True.
And in the health we talk about pain and extended diseases, terminal diseases. Somebody has been on cancer treatment for a long time and they seem not to be getting any better. So somebody said, let me just end it all. You see? Then we have the monster in the room, mental illness. That is still under health.
Yeah.
So we will still come back to it because mental health probably is 80% or 90% to the suicide cases. And even if there are other triggers, but they will all still come to a disturbed mind.
Yeah.
There may be family problem, there may be career problem, there may be regret, there may be business failure, but all of it at the end of the day, it will come back to a disturbed mind and then drive somebody into suicide. So we'll come back and look into detail those health issues, mental, schizophrenia. There are people who are sick and they'll be having voices in their head.
Yeah.
You know, those kind of things. It's not even them doing it. They have delusions.
Yeah.
They have voices, things that talking to them. I know a person who would hear voices telling him, take a knife and stab yourself.
Yeah.
So he'll be found with stab wounds, bleeding. So you'll be wondering what's wrong with this person. And you can be very brutal in handling this person. But this is a patient. So even when we come back and look at the solutions to suicide, part of it should be access to mental health support. Because if we don't have proper mental health support, many people could actually be sick that need physical treatment to manage those conditions. We have things like bipolar that many people don't even have awareness.
Yeah, the people do not know.
They do not know.
The issue of mental health, not many people know, not many people want to know or associate with. And these are the things that drive us to conditions where we reach the end of it all and want to discontinue living. Yeah.
So now you see, like people just generalize mental problem as madness.
Yeah.
So yeah, this guy is crazy. This one is mad. This one wanted to kill himself. This person keeps on talking to himself or herself. So they just say this person is mad. And because of the stigma that comes with mental health issues, the stigma that comes with anybody with a mental challenge, especially in our African setup, people choose to suppress even whatever they are seriously going through, that if they spoke out, probably they would have gotten a solution to it. So we have the health, in terms of course we have the health, then we also have something like environmental. Environmental causes. How? Environmental means outside. If you are in a country that people have access to firearms, say like in the US, where you can walk into a gun shop and buy a gun, where a family, almost every family has a gun. Because of the availability of the gun, somebody could easily be irritated and they are angry and they decide to take their life. So there are many suicide cases in such a kind of environment because you have an access to a gun, something you could use to quickly destroy yourself. We have things like now the internet, we have video games, kids will be playing, and the part of the game is when you are defeated, they will tell you, you can end your life. It's online, video games. That's why it's good to watch the things your children are watching. There are reported cases where kids will be playing a video game, and when they get to a level and they cannot crack that level, part of the suggestion in the video game is you can kill yourself. And the kid will literally go and kill themselves.
And speaking of that, social media as a whole,
yes,
is driving teens and the youth, particularly, to kill themselves.
Good.
When they cannot be what the other person is. And yet social media is basically a fake life.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's good, because you see the pressure, the social media pressure, the kind of environment the person possesses online may not be the real environment the person is in.
Yeah, exactly. They go take photos and people's vehicles and they post, and you think this person probably was my schoolmate. He's already driving a big, yet there it's not. And this this is an issue that seems to be very difficult to tackle.
That's why we need to talk about this.
Mm.
We have to keep talking about these issues, because there is the issue of social media. I could even take a photo in a strange place and come and edit it, put something in the background,
Yeah.
and show as if I was at the airport.
You've just landed or you're just taking off.
I'm just taking off.
Yeah.
I will just put myself in an aircraft and you'll be thinking, oh, this guy is flying all around.
Mm.
And you end up bashing yourself, get into depression, because in the health issues, we also come and discuss depression.
Yeah.
Because depression is among those mental health issues that we need to look into deeply. And now, for the social media, there's also cyberbullying.
Exactly.
Because especially the younger people are not prepared to be criticized.
Exactly.
For some people, if you criticize them, maybe a lady took a photo, posted, and everybody will be attacking you of how you look, the configuration of your body. They'll be attacking you, they'll be throwing abuses at you. And some people can't just stomach that. And that's why it is good if you are not able to handle the pressure online. It is okay to be offline sometime. It is okay to put off the comments, because you will go in the comments and everybody will be cursing you. They will be laughing at you. And some children in their teenage, their adolescence age, it's good for every parent. Please check the activity of your children when they're in that adolescent age, because many of them, they are looking for affirmation. They're looking for people to tell them you are okay. Then somebody tells them you look ugly, you look this, and they will buy that, they will carry it, and they can even actually believe I'm ugly and go destroy.
And this then takes us back to knowing yourself, knowing your purpose. And these are also topics that we have to really delve in deeply. Kenya, how is the situation, or worldwide, if we have a general...
I would want us to really come back and give a serious attention to that, because it's a crisis. Number one, for the African setup, there's no proper reporting of suicide cases. Why? Because there's a lot of stigma around suicide. In many families, if they found somebody in the house dead, and they know it was a case of suicide, they would rather never tell society. They would rather attribute to anything else, because one, the family will be cast, an outcast family. This family is where people commit suicide. So many in the African setup, many suicide cases are
not reported.
They're never reported, they're hidden. But if you look like in the US, they say around 11, in the causes of death, the 11th cause is what? Suicide, with around 49,000 people dying annually of suicide.
And a country like the US,
yes,
some of us in the Africa or outside of the US, we think that the US is the land of milk and honey, where things are so good that you would not imagine people committing suicide. So suicide is not about the material things.
No.
There's something deeper.
You look at now the suicide attempts, because when you look at suicide, there is the suicide itself, there is the suicide attempt, then there is suicidal thoughts.
Yeah.
Those three things need to be contextualized. A case of suicide, somebody died. But there are many more who attempt and are rescued. And for these ones, I was looking at it like over 2 million people will be attempting suicide. They are found having attempted suicide.
Yeah.
Then the number of the people who have suicidal thoughts is just unbelievable. Because they say up to 30% of the entire population of, for example, Australia, 30% of the entire population have thought about suicide in the last 5 years.
And this tells us how sick the society is.
Yes.
The society is so sick, but many times we think sickness is that person with physical health. But this sickness is mental health.
Yes.
And it's not being given the attention that it should have. Because mental health is what is eating into the society much more than the physical health.
And we need to come back and give a detailed account, especially the Kenyan one and the global one. I don't want us to just give in passing.
No.
I want us to come and give these details because this should attract the attention of some non-governmental organizations. Because we have cases of police officers committing suicide.
Yeah.
There was a case of a doctor, if you remember, in this country.
Yeah, exactly.
This is a medical doctor. You think they are smart enough to handle pressure and everything. And because she cannot meet her needs, she decides to
commit suicide. And don't forget the case of pastor also.
Yeah.
When he a pastor who is supposed to be pastoring people and making them feel like
to give hope.
Yes. Also gets to a point when they cannot have that hope that they
yes.
Yeah.
So, and you look even in the Bible, that's why this is a long topic and we're going to keep at it. Elijah in the Bible. In the Bible, 1 Kings chapter 18, he just had a mountaintop victory on Mount Carmel. And he's killed the false prophets of Baal and Asherah. Then the following chapter 19, Jezebel sends a word and he says, if your head, may the gods deal with me, be it so severely, if your head remains. And because of that threat, he went into a desert. The Bible will tell us he even put off his servant and went alone. And that's why as we look at the red flags of suicide, is when somebody who was jovial and full of life around people withdraws themselves. When somebody begins to be alone, that is a reason to be worried.
Yes.
So he goes in, sleeps under a tent, he says, God, kill me. The other day, the person was leading a national revival. The following day, he's under a tree, contemplating suicide. So we would want to bring out this issue. Even in the churches, a few, was it 1.5 years or 2 years ago, there was a case in Kilifi, the Shakahola thing. And where a pastor indoctrinated people and they fasted to death. It's literally suicide by fasting. And many times people swallow things, but this time there was no swallow. So it's still suicide. This is mass suicide. So even as we look at the causes, part of the causes is wrong theology, wrong doctrines. It is possible that I could teach my congregation a wrong thing and they decide to fast for 90 days and they die in the process. So we have a lot to share on this journey.
No wonder the Bible says my people perish for lack of knowledge.
Yes.
We need to give this knowledge.
We have to continually discuss this.
Yeah. Even before we finish, let me just go back to the church.
Yes.
In some churches, when somebody commits suicide, they don't even bury them.
Aha.
I don't know whether to ask you what does the Bible say. Because I'm imagining I have committed suicide, but the church is not going to help my family bury me. They are making it worse because they are in such a bad, a very delicate state at that point. And then my pastor will say, I'm not going to bury this person. Or my pastor will come and wear black and bury him in black. What is the idea behind this?
You know, why we are doing this is to remove the stigma around this subject and probably to give a little knowledge that if Dennis committed suicide and left behind a wife and children, God forbid, they are victims, those who remain behind. They are grieving. They are mourning the loss of their loved ones. It is Dennis who died. Why are you punishing
the living?
The living.
Yeah.
Dennis is dead, but you're punishing them.
So even if you went and threw Dennis somewhere, the body somewhere, it doesn't matter to Dennis.
It doesn't matter to those
family
who remain behind.
Yeah.
And that is why one of the causes of suicide, which we shall discuss later, are actually family related. In a way that if a son committed suicide in that family, it's possible that those who remained, a brother could also commit suicide out of grief.
Out of grief. And could it be also in a generational curse?
We will have to discuss that one because from a spiritual perspective, you could look at a family and somebody committed suicide, another one committed suicide, another one committed suicide, and you could clearly say this thing is generational. There is something in this family. So even as a pastor or somebody in the religious space, we need to take a spiritual approach to suicide also, because where it's not just a drug problem, a marriage problem, but this thing is a pattern in the family. Probably it should also be a prayer issue as much as it is a medical or a counseling issue.
Exactly. And for somebody to commit suicide, I believe the person just before committing suicide must be possessed by some spirit. You cannot just be your normal self and still kill yourself. What do you say about it?
I strongly agree with you in the sense that if it's not a medical problem, where we talked about schizophrenia, bipolar, this person could be sick and he has just an episode of the mental illness come back to him or her, and they do something. And that is another question, a very wide one. Can a person who committed suicide go to heaven?
That I would want to know. That I would want us to
we'll look at it one day.
Look at it.
Well, let me give you a scenario. This brother is a soldier. He is in Haiti. Like Kenya has the police in Haiti. and they have been ambushed, and he's in a gang territory. He's abandoned alone, and these gangs are brutal gangs. They will do anything to you. They will kill you, but not just by shooting you. They will literally tear you into pieces. This person is abandoned. They were ambushed. He's alone. He's in a gang territory, but he has a pistol on himself. And this brother decides, these people are going to kill me. They're going to kill me in a very painful way. So he takes the pistol and kills themselves. And he was going to die by the hands of the gangs in a very terrible way. So he says, God, have mercy on me. And he kills himself. This brother was church-going, God-loving. Will he go to heaven? A subject for another day.
Subject for another day. Yes, and even as we are going on, I would love to hear other pastors or religious people answer this talk question. About this question.
This person
so if you are a pastor and you are listening or hearing this, please comment on this. Will this person go to heaven according to you? Yeah.
This brother or sister is schizophrenic. He goes to church. He's even born again. But he has a problem. It's a medical problem. He's schizophrenic. He's even on medication. And perhaps because the medication did not work, he has an episode and the things talk to him to go and throw himself in a pool and he drowns. He was church going.
This one is straight away to heaven. That one I know will go to heaven. But the other one I'm not sure.
So now this kind of stigma, you brought about the religious question.
Exactly.
And I'm just bringing out those different scenarios.
Yeah. I think we are getting to close the today's. Before we close, I would want to give you a chance. If there's something that you feel we should have mentioned, this is just an introductory section.
Well, now, this is the beginning of a long journey, and where we are going to be discussing this subject of suicide. And we are not going to take a judgmental approach, as we said, because there are families who have lost loved ones, and they're trying to cope. I remember listening and watching Pastor Rick Warren. Somebody may never know, but Rick is actually the author of the book, The Purpose-Driven Life.
Yes.
And he was saying when they came and discovered their son had committed suicide, some people came very close, and he said they just came, did not even say a word. And I remember him saying sometime when people are going through a lot of pain, don't come and lecture them. He gave a very good statement. He said, just show up and shut up.
Yes.
Yeah, because sometimes you try to add meaning to what happened and the person is still trying, is still confused, you know. So there are families, you could be there, you lost a brother, you lost a sister. Please join us on this journey. Because this journey will probably give you some peace as we talk, and you may be a solution to another family to avoid the case of suicide as you tell your story. Number two, if you are there, probably you have attempted suicide, please reach us. Get into the comment, write to us. You are there and you have attempted suicide. You may also want to share your story, how you actually overcame that suicide episode. You went, maybe you even took some medication, or you tried it, people found you out and you are saved. Please reach out so that your story may actually help somebody else.
And I think we are going to display some numbers where somebody can inbox if they do not want to do it on the comment section.
Yes.
Yeah.
For the sake of privacy.
Yeah.
Or you could be there and you're actually going through a suicidal season. You're feeling like life is empty, life is useless, life does not have taste, life does not have a meaning. This is not just to throw out information, but also to be available to give you a counseling, to stand with you, to encourage you and see you through that season. So this is a long journey. Please join us on this journey. We just touched a little here and there, but there's a lot that we are going to come. Please, if you have somebody in the house, a family, somebody at work who is withdrawn, talking about killing themselves, saying life is useless, somebody who is always alone, somebody who has become bitter at life, they could be at a state where they are thinking about ending their life. Be available for them. Listen to them as she told us. Please listen to them. Give them some room to open up. Create an environment where they can open up. And when they do, please stand with them, walk with them. And if you cannot do it alone, find somebody professional. Talk to a counselor, talk to a pastor, talk to somebody who can advise and walk with that person so that no one should die prematurely.
And I remember Pastor Rick Warren said that it is sometimes from the deepest pain that a ministry is born. So you can think you have had a very deep pain, but probably there is something being born out of that.
Yes.
So pain is not the end of it.
Very true.
You've gone through it, but think about what you will learn and what you will, the fruit that will be born out of that pain.
Good. Thank you. I'm going to be here. We are going to do this again and again. I don't know how long this is going to take, but I am quite sure it's going to be a long series. If you are there, you have an organization that is dealing with such kind of issues, please reach out. We would want to partner with you also. We would want to hold hands in whatever society or organization you may be involved in. If you find this material we're sharing here helpful, you can want to partner with us to touch more life. We would want to partner with you in affecting many other lives. You could be watching this and you are in the mainstream media. We want to bring this discussion not just on YouTube. We want to bring this discussion on the mainstream media and other platforms. So if you are there watching this and you have access to these other platforms, please reach out. Let us touch many lives. Let us bring advocacy about suicide and save many lives from going down the drain prematurely.
Yes, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. Probably this is going to be a journey of very many miles. Probably this is going to bear a ministry.
Yes.
So we believe in God that He doesn't do things in vain. And therefore, today I want to thank you very much, Pastor Dennis, for always being there to discuss such issues. And of course, we are going to have a long series on this, and we hope that it will touch lives. Thank you very much for watching this episode, and I want to once again thank Pastor Rick Warren. What you did may seem small, but this is going to reach to touch many lives the world over. Thank you very much for watching this episode. Look out for the next very many episodes on this topic, and please do comment on the comment section. Please do share and subscribe if you have not subscribed. May the Lord bless you.